Hey YouTube, it's Jonathan, and today I am kicking off my men's makeup series with some of the basics of men's makeup. I'm going through a list of basic steps that will hopefully get you started on your journey with makeup or give you some ideas as to what products are going to work best for you. Makeup is very subjective, so you can kind of take the steps away from this that you think will help you or benefit you the most and skip the ones that you don't think you need. I'm going to start out with skincare. I just have 3 items to show you today. I had planned on doing a full men's skincare basics as well, so give this a thumbs up if you think that that would be something you want to see. The first step is cleansing. This is the simple cleansing water. I really like this a lot. It's very easy. You don't have to rinse afterwards. You can just kind of pour this on a cotton ball or cotton pad, sweep it across your face, gets everything nice and clean without having to rinse it off. Next, I would apply a little bit of something around the eyes. This is the Anti-Fatigue Eye Gel from Clinique for men. You just roll the metal tip around the orbital bone area, and that really depuffs and kind of wakes up the eye area and moisturizes it as well. Last, for skincare, I'm going to recommend a facial moisturizer that has a little bit of sunscreen in it. This is from Anthony. It is just their basic facial moisturizer with SPF 30. They also do an oil-free version of this as well. I've been using this for a couple of days now, and I really like it a lot. It's got a lot of great ingredients in it, but it's at the same time very basic. Applying sunscreen to your face daily is very important. It helps with anti-aging as well as preventing skin cancer and sunspots. The first makeup item I'm going to talk about are primers. This one from Smashbox is really great if you have oily skin or large pores. It's the pore minimizing primer. You would apply this just to the portions of your face where you have large pores or excessive oil buildup. It is really great at keeping you nice and mattified. It's great for people that don't actually want to wear a lot of makeup. You can kind of smooth out your skin with this and just be on with your day or move on to some of the other steps that I'm going to talk about. If you have a drier skin type, you could opt for something that is a little bit more hydrating. This one from Laura Geller is really nice and moisturizing under makeup. To apply your primer, you're going to start by squeezing out about a pea-sized amount onto your fingertips and distributing that between your 2 hands. I like to concentrate this more on the sections of my face where I have more oil buildup or more pores or fine lines. The next thing that I'm going to talk about are bases. There are quite a few options here, so choosing the right one can be a little bit of a challenge. There are tinted moisturizers, BB creams, CC creams, foundations, powder foundations, liquid, cream, anything you can think of. A great drugstore option is from Maybelline. This is the Dream Wonder Fluid Touch Foundation. It's very light and sheer on the skin. You can build it up to get a medium coverage if that is what you want. You can even blend this in with your fingertips or a brush depending on the coverage that you're looking for. This foundation is great for most skin types. It is not mattifying, but it's also not super dewy either. It's very natural looking on the skin. I think it gives a very skin-like texture. A high-end full coverage CC cream like the Smashbox one is going to help with dark spots. So if you have discoloration on your skin either from the sun or from aging, this one is going to help break that up and even out the skin tone. My current absolute obsession is the Complexion Rescue from bareMinerals. This is a sheer to medium. It's not a tinted moisturizer, it's not a BB cream, it's not a CC cream, it's kind of everything all in one. It is super duper hydrating, so if you have dry skin like mine, this is going to be a really great option for you. I also think it is really well priced. It runs for $29, which is expensive when you're comparing it to the drugstore, but when you compare it to other high-end tinted moisturizers and foundations, it's about $10 less than the rest of them. Any of these options can be applied with your fingertips or with a brush. Using a brush tends to give you a little bit better coverage and more control. I am going to start by applying this with my fingertips and then just blending out the edges with a brush. This is the technique that I used with most foundations and BB creams, CC creams, tinted moisturizers, whatever I'm using. I find the warmth of my fingertips really helps to warm the product into the skin, and then the brush really helps me to blend out the edges. Next item to talk about is going to be concealer. Sometimes I skip my base altogether, go right from primer to concealer, just to kind of cover up the dark circles under my eyes or any spots that I might have at the time. My drugstore option is also going to be from Maybelline. This is the Fit Me Concealer. I find this to be one of my absolute favorite concealers, even up against my high-end concealers. The finish of this one is very natural. It sets nicely under the eyes. It doesn't get very cakey or anything like that. It doesn't settle into lines or creases, which is very nice as well. Another great do-it-all product is the MAC Studio Finish Concealer. It's great under the eyes, over redness, and even over blemishes and spots. You can apply this with your fingertips or with a brush. I, again, normally like to take my fingertips to warm up the product and then blend out with the brush. That's just my personal preference, but your fingertips will work just fine. I like to apply this under my eyes just to cancel out the darkness that I have there, around my nose because I have a little bit of redness going on there, and then just over any spots that I have. That is concealer on. Next, I'm going to talk about powders. There are a few kinds of powders out there. There are setting powders, which are translucent normally. There are full coverage foundation powders, and then there's everything in between. I normally like to opt for a lighter setting powder just to kind of set the base that I have, but if you want to skip using anything liquid and just go right onto a powdered foundation, that is really great for more oily skin types, and it feels really light on the skin. This NYX Stay Matte Not Flat powder is a great drugstore option. It's got a full coverage effect to it if you use a couple layers and really build it up slowly, and that's really nice for oily skin types as well as people that want more of a matte shine-free finish. Of course, because I've used nothing else but this for the last couple months, I am going to take my Chanel Lavage powder. This is really great for all skin types. It's got more of a luminous finish. It doesn't set the skin matte, which I really like. It just makes the skin look very natural and skin-like. Applying powder over your cream products really locks them into place on the skin all day. First, I'm going to set under my eyes. That is the most important place for me to set so that my concealer doesn't crease. Then I like to take this to the center of the face just to make sure I don't get oily throughout the day. Now that the base is all done and set, I'm going to talk about putting a little bit of color back into the skin. There are blushes, bronzers, highlighters, contours, a little bit of everything out there. I personally recommend starting out with something basic like a good matte bronzer that's going to see you through day in and day out. It's really one of those staple products that I always have with me. A great matte bronzer from the drugstore comes from Physicians Formula. They do a few different options on bronzer. This one is the light bronzer, and it's got a little bit of sunscreen in it. If you've watched any of my videos in the last couple months, you'll know I'm still currently obsessed with the Smashbox bronzer. This is a very high quality, very fine bronzer. It looks super, super natural on the skin when blended out with a duo fiber brush, and it just gives your skin a nice sun-kissed look without looking like too much. For the most natural look, I use a duo fiber brush because it applies the smallest amount of product at a time and really allows you to build. I like to take my bronzer onto the high points of my face, like my cheekbones, my forehead, my nose, and my chin, because that's where the sun naturally hits my skin and tans me first. Taking a small amount on the brush, I just blend that in circular motions until I get the desired amount of color that I like. You can go ahead and skip lashes altogether if you have nice, full, dark, curly lashes. I personally have blonde eyelashes, so I'm going to give them a quick curl, and you could leave that there, but I am going to put a little bit of brow gel on mine. I use a Tinted Brow Gel in an espresso color from NYX currently right now. I like this a lot. It's very simple and cheap. To define my brows today, I'm taking my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Soft Brown. I'm running that through my arches and any sparse areas as well, using nice short motions that are kind of mimic the look of brow hairs. I like to do this up close in the mirror. I usually have a hand mirror so that I can get right up in my brows and make sure everything looks as nice and natural as possible. For a more natural look, you could opt for the brow gel instead, or you could even apply some on top of the pencil for a more defined look. I'm going to take my NYX brow gel and just put mostly through the arches and a few little strokes towards the front of the brow just to make sure everything lays nicely. Last thing to talk about are the lips. You can go ahead and just put on a little bit of your favorite lip balm, chapstick, Burt's Bees, whatever you got, and be done with it there. You could also opt for a gloss or a lipstick depending on your personal preferences. Today I'm going to take a little bit of Nude. This is Jennifer's Nude from L'Oreal. It is very, very, very close to my natural lip color. I'm just patting that on straight from the lipstick bullet and then patting it in with my fingertips. And this is the finished look for my men's makeup basics. If you have any questions about the products that I talked about today, or have any questions about things that might be better suited to your skin type, leave those in the comments bar below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and if you want to see more men's makeup videos in the future. If you haven't already, you can go ahead and click on my face right now to subscribe to my channel. I regularly post men's makeup looks as well as women's makeup looks, favorites videos, etc. and I post every Monday and Thursday. Check me out on Instagram and Twitter. Both of those things are at JonJonTalks, and I will see you all next time. Bye! So much when it first came out, but I am still loving this, and I am just applying that right onto the top of the cheekbones and blending it into the contour. Going back to my bronzer, I am taking a small blending brush, and I am going to be